there was a story published this week by Real Simple and talked about how complaining can actually change your brain chemistry, which I thought was very interesting. So they published a story about how what complaining does to your brain. Here's what they found. Complaining can actually feel productive, right?
Yeah.
And that's something we know.
Oh, for sure.
You know, it feels like it's like because you're talking about it, it feels like you're making some sort of progress, but unless you make progress on it, it doesn't really do anything, right?
Yeah.
So psychologists say that your brain can mistake complaining for taking action. So even when you're just replaying this same problem over and over, it feels like you're getting somewhere, but you're not because you're just like
You're stuck in a loop.
you're stuck in a loop and you're not actually taking actions forward. So they talk about why our brains like love to complain.
Oh, why?
So humans naturally pay more attention to negative experiences than positive ones.
Sure.
Which is what we kind of mentioned in the last story. But you think about it, it's like, you know, you remember this embarrassing thing from a few months ago, but like you might struggle to remember
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Or like I once accidentally let my fish die. I think about that once a week. I was 9.
That is so funny. Yeah. And like they talk about how especially if you're complaining to someone and they validate you, that can like egg on the experience, right? And like reward your brain to like keep repeating that cycle.
If a friend keeps validating your complaints, you're like, yeah, it is crazy. And then you're like, yeah, that is crazy. And you just keep going and going and going.
Yeah. So this article asked a question like, what happens if you stop complaining for 1 week? And experts are saying that taking a break from complaining can lower anxiety, increase self-awareness, free up mental energy, help you focus on what you can actually control. So instead of getting stuck in the problem, your brain starts looking for solutions instead of complaining, you know?
So you like acknowledge that there's a problem internally, mentally, and then instead of like complaining about it to your friends verbally, you just are like, all right, let's sit and think about what to do next.
Right. So and they talk about like actually taking like action instead of just like complaining the feedback loop of a complaint. And they talk about how this can actually improve your relationships. Like constant negativity can wear people down, obviously.
Yeah.
Friendships mostly built around negative venting often become kind of emotionally draining. And reducing complaints can lead to more positive, meaningful conversations. So I thought it was very interesting. And there's obviously a difference. Like if you're like talking to a therapist or you're talking to, you know, a family member or like something's obviously going on, it's very important sometimes to get those like things out. But there's a difference between venting and chronic complaining.
For sure. I mean, like, listen, your girl has never once suffered in silence. I only suffer loudly. So could I probably take a page out of that book and maybe try and improve myself? Yes. Will I stop complaining? Absolutely not. Like, come on. I don't know. How could you ever stop complaining? I feel like as an adult, like a lot of times, even just a complaint about like the door in your dumb building or whatever is how people like almost bond. You're like, oh, and then this happened again. Yikes. Like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be really hard to cut out complaints. That'd be wild.
Yeah. I think my brain I get overwhelmed when I complain a lot. Like, and I will work myself up over like silly stuff. So I try, like I have to make a concerted effort, obviously, but I try very hard not to complain about things because I'm like, it will only make it worse for myself. I have to like think a little bit selfishly and be like, this will make my day worse. Yeah. So I'm like, I can't do that.
That's so fair. My husband is like that too. If he complains to me about the same thing more than like 3 or 4 times, I'm like, okay. I'm trying to be supportive, but that's a lot of complaints about the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. So the experts actually put a tip in this piece and they said that if you feel like you have to vent or complain, they say to schedule, quote, worry time. So give yourself 15 to 20 minutes to vent later instead of letting complaints take up your whole day. Oh, so maybe like keep a log of things like, oh, I gotta complain about that later.
To the list.
Yeah. And then later freak out about it.
5:05 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. after work, but like before dinner, you're like, all right, here are my list of complaints. Yeah. Pull it out. Ready to bitch.
Exactly.
I can't, you know what? Honestly, that's probably a good way of compartmentalizing. Yeah. It's like you're just got to get through the day at some point.
Exactly. Everything has a time frame.
Exactly. Exactly. We're blocking out time for this. Pencil that bad boy in.
Literally. So funny.